Welcome to Goodwood Festival of Speed, Day 2. We had to circle back to this Zonda area. Seeing all of these next to each other is absolutely insane, particularly considering some of these are one-offs, and even a standard Zonda, I actually just talked to a dealership today that sells them all the time, will set you back a minimum of $9 million. So you can imagine some of these custom ones are even more expensive. Absolutely gorgeous Zonda C12. I love the double stacked wing with this little tacked on element there. And it looks like you can actually undo these rivets and change the angle of the wing. This has got to be my favorite Zonda of the event. Full blue and black exposed carbon fiber 760. And I love the yellow accents, just so aggressive looking. Look how low this rear diffuser is. That is crazy. And the signature Zonda quad exhaust in a circular formation is just way too cool. And then this is probably my second favorite Zonda, the 760 Attack. Now, some people are a bit sad that they've taken the original Zondas and converted them into 760s. Honestly, I just think it looks better. It's more aggressive. I get it's not quite as classy and timeless, but this is the style of car that really appeals to me. And look at that bespoke logo, Zonda Attack, with the purple titanium exhaust. That is wild. First time getting up close with the Huayra Epitome, which is a one-off version of the Pagani Huayra with a manual transmission. It's pretty crazy to see that both Koenigsegg and Pagani did a very similar thing at the same time with the Chimera and the Epitome. But let's go ahead and check out the interior, because honestly, after reviewing one of these, the only thing missing about the car was a better gearbox. It had that single clutch automated manual, which in the BC Roadster, which is actually the only version of the Huayra that I've driven, is a lot updated from the original Huayra, but still it felt like it could use a little bit of updating. But check out how gorgeous that manual transmission is. That is just a work of art. The exposed linkage is just so cool, and the spec on this Huayra is out of this world. And then next to it, we've got the Imola Roadster, which is an even more hardcore version of the BC Roadster. We've got a bespoke front end. You can hear the cars ripping by on the hill climb. That is so loud. With an even more aggressive front fascia, we come around to the side. Similar side profile to the Huayra BC, but this thing is even lighter weight and more hardcore. Check out how gorgeous that brown Alcantara is on the interior, the Italian flag stitching, Imola Roadster embroidery, beautiful suspension work in blue and orange. And then coming around the back, that rear diffuser is so aggressive. Zinger always has a gorgeous display. This mint green is so classy. And look at this all black one. Awesome to see the engine that powers the Zinger as well. An absolute work of art. Look at the turbos on the side, the transmission. And then the intake plenum is just so gorgeous. I love the vertical fan as well. This is actually really good timing. So this is a Red Bull Racing spec Valkyrie, and they're actually about to unveil the RB17, which is essentially Red Bull's version of the Valkyrie and track only. Adrian Newey, an F1 designer and the designer of the Valkyrie, apparently had some differing opinions on what to do with the car. So after the Valkyrie project was completed, he decided to come out with the full-fledged RB17 exactly the way that he wanted to create it. I love how creative people have gotten with the specs on the Spectre. We reviewed a purple one, and this is a two-tone black and almost pink color scheme that is absolutely stunning. Look at those 23-inch wheels with the color-matched center cap. Check this out, guys. This is the new generation Cullinan Series 2. Seeing this for the first time, we've got updated headlights. We've got updated lower front grille portions. The design language actually makes it look like it sits lower to the ground, almost like a Phantom compared to the Series 1 Cullinan. I love the design language of the new wheels as well. Look at this, a demonstration of the event seating in the Series 2 Cullinan. How cool is that? Here's a car I've never seen before in the flesh. Here's a car I've never seen before in the flesh, a Dunkevort. I actually had no idea what this was from afar. It looks like this guy had some serious fun off-roading. Really small little interior, but I actually really like the way this thing looks. That side exit exhaust is awesome as well. It's almost like a mini Vulcan. Nice Alpina in the parking lot, Performante, as well as a Urus Performante. The color on this Revuelto is insane, and look at how wide the tires are. They look awesome with the mud caked on them. Once again, my favorite part of the car is probably the fact that the engine is fully exposed with no glass engine cover. Cool Maserati race car. It's so funny to see massive cars like this Rolls-Royce Ghost and the Puro Sangue run up the hill climb. So we're on the Zinger stand now. Such a good looking car. Looks like we can get a load of the interior. I mean, look at the size of that door. This is the Vmax edition, 0 to 60 in 1.9 seconds, designed and made in California, and such a unique seating position, one behind each other, and get a load of that engine and all of the 3D printed components. But what's really cool is they have the full chassis and monocoque sitting here exposed, so you can see that awesome Öhlins suspension setup. Really cool design there. Get a load of the brake calipers. I mean, all of the suspension components are absolutely insane. And even the dash is 3D printed and basically hollow, like a skeleton. So the 21C Vmax is a twin turbocharged V8 hybrid that has available up to 1,350 horsepower. Apparently it's 1,250 as standard. What a crazy looking car. The side profile is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, talk about a massive area to reduce the turbulent airflow from the front wheel. I've actually never seen that big of a fender vent before up in the front. And then an enormous intake for cooling. Nice lineup of MC20s, a car we've reviewed and driven multiple times on the channel, but the OG, the MC12, this is the Corsa version, track only, basically a modified Enzo, but even more rare. I absolutely love the design, especially this part right here in the front hood. We saw one of these race around the track in Dubai last year. Never gets old. And they just revealed the MC20 Icona, which has a very similar livery, if you guys remember, to the MC12. First time seeing the Zenvo Aurora since Pebble Beach. We went to the Zenvo house and got to see these for the first time. Absolutely insane design language. I hope these come out relatively soon. And I really love the interior as well, also with analog gauges, kind of like Swiss watch manufacturing that Bugatti just did with the Tourbillon. Actually a similar Öhlins suspension setup to the Zinger right behind it. How cool is this? Looking inside the Zenvo Aurora Pure, like I was saying, very analog instrument cluster that actually has a really cool feature where the dash layout flips around like a tourbillon movement. How cool is that? And this is the Agile version, the track-focused version of the Aurora with a much more intense wing and rear end. I mean, look at that carbon fiber rear diffuser, and I love the fact that you can see all the way through those suspension components. Zenvo really did a good job with the design language on this car. Not to say the TSRS isn't an attractive looking vehicle, but they have stepped things up by a serious degree with the new car. Well, seeing the Bolide and the Mistral does not get old, and the fact that now Lanzante is gonna make 2 or 3 road legal versions of the Bolide is insane. Cooling down the engine with a leaf blower. In my opinion, this is easily one of the best looking hypercars of all time. And obviously I'm very impartial to the fact that it has a roof scoop, which is just so sick. Here we've got the 15th anniversary edition of the Rimac Nevera. This was the fastest car I have ever driven and reviewed on vehicle versions, and was the only car where I felt like, yep, they have reached the limit of what fast enough is. And it actually gave me a headache after about 20 minutes behind the wheel because of the acceleration. I love the color matched interior accents to the exterior. This part right here with the power gauge looks so classy. For comparison to the Aurora, we've got the original Zenvo right here as well. Well guys, this is easily the car of Goodwood Festival of Speed, the Koenigsegg Chimera. It's based on the Agera RS, arguably my favorite looking Koenigsegg that they've ever made. But it is a mix of basically every different modern Koenigsegg model. The Chimera is actually an ancient Greek figure that's made up of a whole bunch of different animals, and this embodies that in spades. So in the back, it's got the Regera suspension. Now, in the middle, it's got the Koenigsegg Jesko engine with 1,600 horsepower. And the coolest part is, in the middle of the car, we've got the transmission from the CC850. So it's a 6-speed manual transmission, and then it's got the 9-speed Lightning transmission. And you can go from full automatic mode to a 6-speed manual, and then you can also use the paddles at the same time. Now, apparently it has a track mode that can actually change the gear ratios of the Chimera when it's on the track, so it's even more exciting. It's so cool to see that Koenigsegg was willing to make this one-off bespoke car with so many different components. The Huayra, they made it with a manual transmission. That's one thing. This is a Jesko engine, a CC850 transmission, Regera suspension, Agera RS bodies. I mean, I've never seen anything like this in my entire life. Unbelievable.